Hey yo, I am NonHeroJC, and today I'm going to show you how to soft mod your PS2. It has to be the fat PS2 model, so the one with the expansion bay, and it also has to be a certain model, so be sure to double check yours online just in case. So with that in mind, feel free to skip to later in the video where I actually get in the tutorial. All I'm going to show is what you need for it. So, for those of you who are sticking around for this little intro, the first thing you'll probably need is, surprise, surprise, a controller. Yeah, that should be obvious. I figure I should mention it. You need a controller. Next up, I'm going to be using this SSD drive, this 120 gig. It will work perfectly for this demonstration. I personally prefer to use a solid state drive in this with modding the PS2, just because you don't get the ticking noise you sometimes get from older hard drives. But feel free to use whatever you have. Even 3.5-inch drives will fit in there just nicely. But only up to 2 terabytes. That is your max limit. So, outside of that, you will need your PS2 network adapter. In my case, I'm using a Gamestar network adapter, a cheap Chinese one. In the case of this one, I wasn't able to use the usual method where you can get a noobie package and it's all there. It kept giving me a black screen, so if you ever had that issue, this will probably work out for you. Another thing to keep in mind, you'll need a flash drive. This is an old 128 megabyte flash drive. Honestly, the older the better, just because these are USB 1.1 ports, I believe. So very old. I know my USB 3.0 drives did not work, so I had to dig this out from my parents' basement. So yeah, those are what you absolutely need. I'm going to go over a couple of things that will be nice creature comforts for those of you who want them. So first of all, a memory card. Now, a memory card isn't necessary because once you get the games onto the SSD, you can go in there and you can add a virtual memory card. But having one of these handy makes it so you don't have to do that for every single game. I strongly recommend it. They're so cheap online. You can get a 64 gig one for like $7. Like, it's worth it. Just go for it. Another thing I recommend, if you're not using an old CRT display and you don't have, I have some RCA cables. These look like absolute garbage on my flat screen TV. So I will give you an example of what these look like. And then what I'm using is this PS2 to HDMI adapter. Something to keep in mind, if yours comes with it, a little USB, make sure you keep this plugged in and plug the other end into your PS2 on the front ports. It makes it look just a little bit better, but yeah. As you can see though on screen, the difference is night and day. So yeah, I strongly recommend that for anyone hooking it up to a modern display that doesn't have a CRT on hand. So the last and final thing that you may want to consider is getting one of these USB drive, USB to SATA drive adapters to connect to your computer. You don't need this. You can honestly just use a standard SATA cable, plug it directly to your computer, power it on, and you'll be good to install it like that. Personally, I prefer this. It's way convenient. And also something to keep in mind, if you're using a 3.5-inch drive, make sure it's one of these powered models and that you have the power plugged in. I'm not, so I don't need that. But if you are, make sure you get one of those because otherwise it won't be able to read the drive. I learned that the hard way back in the day. So that is it for this intro. Let's go ahead and hop on the computer and get started on this tutorial. Now that we're on the computer, right here on this left side is all the files I'll be using, but I'll show you where to go ahead and get them. I'll provide the links to all these websites in the description. So first things first, on this first website, you want to download FreeHDBoot, latest version 1.966. I've had good success with the previous version, so if you have an issue with this, feel free to revert to that. And then after you do that, go to 11 on the tabs, and you want to go on ahead and download the ELF ISR. You want to get the HDL batch installer. This will be used to install the games onto your hard drive if you have ISOs burned to your computer. And then we'll also need the raw copy tool. From here, I do prefer to download the executable version, but you may download whichever one you choose. And then as well, download the HDD image here. We'll also be using WinHIIP, which is optional, but I do recommend it. It just makes it so that everything's nice and smooth, no issues whatsoever. So just go ahead and pick that up. Last thing to pick up, if you want to add cover art to your PS2 games, go ahead and pick up OPL Manager, and I'll show how we do that at the end of the video. So with all those downloaded, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is prep the hard drive. So we're going to want to go into create and format hard disk partitions. I'm going to go into here, scroll down a bit, and here is the drive I'm going to be using. Make sure it's unallocated with this black line and all that stuff. You need to go ahead and right click it and delete the volume on the hard drive you'll be using. And while we're in here, also make sure that your flash drive that you'll be using is formatted to FAT32. That will be ideal. So once we're done with that, you can go ahead and close disk management, and we're going to start with WinHIIP. Once you have that extracted, here should be the files. You're going to need to right click and run as administrator. Hit OK, and then select drive. Here it should bring up what drive you're using. Go ahead and click that. Make sure not to click the wrong drive in your system, because this will delete any of those files that are currently on it. Go ahead and select that. It says that it doesn't have a master boot record for the PS2. That's okay. Now we want to hit format drive, and you want to select the 28-bit, or if you have the option, the 48-bit version of the loader. Go ahead and hit OK, hit yes, and hit OK again. All right, once we're done with that, we're no longer going to use WinHIIP. Used to be the way to install games onto your PS2 hard drive, but we no longer do that. So go ahead and close out of that. Next, we're going to need to use the hard drive raw copy tool. Go ahead and double click that, hit yes. Locate the file you want to find. So in my case, I'll need to double click this, my desktop, and we're looking for the _mbr.rar file. Don't extract this. Go ahead and just click OK, hit continue, and go ahead and select where you're installing it to. My case is named this due to the USB I'm using. There's the file size, and hit continue. Then you want to hit start and hit yes. Once it's written to the drive, we're good to go. Go ahead and close that, and we can eject the hard drive. So go ahead and eject that. All right, now we're going to deal with the USB drive. So we're going to open up this folder, go down to your flash drive, and from in here, we want to copy the boot.elf into there. And you're going to want to extract the FreeHDBoot zip file. Go ahead and extract that here, extract it, and then you want to copy this into that drive file as well. Mine's an older flash drive, so it takes a second. Perfect. Once that's done, we're ready to eject the flash drive. And we are good with the PC from here. Go ahead and unplug your hard drive and your SD or flash drive and plug them into the PS2, and we'll continue from there. Now that we're on the PS2, it should open up to this file browser right here. The launch elf should have opened. If it didn't, may need to repeat the steps on the flash drive to make sure everything went in all right. So from here, we're going to hit circle to go into the file browser. We're going to go down, hit circle on mass, and we're going to go to this boot.elf and hit circle once again. All right, and in here, we're in another launch elf. We're going to once again hit circle to the file browser. We're going to go down to MISC this time, hit circle on that. And we're going to go all the way down to HDD Manager. Go ahead and hit circle on that. All right, and once it opens up, go ahead and hit R1, and you want to go to Format and hit OK. All right, now that it's been formatted, you'll have all these files on that right side. Next, we want to create our OPL folder, so hit R1 again, go and click on Create, and in all capital letters, type in plus OPL, plus sign, O, P, and then L. And then go down and hit OK. It'll ask what partition size you want to do. Now, if you have a drive that is less than 750 gigabytes, 768 is the recommended. If you have a drive that's a terabyte, 1024, and anything larger up to 2 terabytes is 1536 is what you should be setting for this. So since I have a drive small, we're doing 768 and hit OK. Right, now you should have the plus OPL folder at the bottom. We're good there. Go ahead and hit triangle. We're going to go back into the file browser once again. This time we're going to hit circle on our mass. And this time we're going into FreeHDBoot, the folder, and we're going to go into FreeHDBoot installer.elf. All right, and once we're in here, you want to hit R1, and you want to go down to install free hard drive boot. Hit OK. Keep in mind it's X now. It's swapped. So hit X. Go down. Hit yes. And let this go ahead and download real quick. All right. And now you have a soft modded PS2 that is ready to receive some games. So go ahead and hit L1. Exit. Hit OK. And once we load up into the main menu, we'll shut down from there. And we're going to unplug the hard drive and the flash drive and plug them into the computer once again to show you how to install the games onto it. All right, let's go all the way down, shut down system, and see you on the computer. All right, now back on the computer, I have my .iso right here. There's videos out there to show you how to burn your copies of games onto your PC. I won't go into that here. So for now, you're going to need to extract your hard drive bootloader and go on ahead and click on the batch installer. Let that load in. Right, then you're going to want to click search PS2 hard disk drives. Found it. Next, we are going to search for our games. In my case, mine is Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to open that up. It's loaded. Then we're going to want to click install. And you can do this in batches if you have many games you're going to be installing. You can select all of them. In my case, it's just the one. All right, so now we can just go ahead and hit OK here. And we can close hard drive batch installer. And close that out. And right now you're good to go ahead and unplug your drive and put into your PS2, but I'm going to show you how to use OPL Manager to install cover art for your games. So what you want to do first is create a folder, just title it OPL, set that over, and open up OPL Manager. It'll pop up, says that it doesn't have a folder. Would you like to create the art files? I'm going to hit no for now. And then we're going to go into settings. I'm going to change OPL folder. And I am going to just select mine just to make sure that it installs there. Hit save. It says okay. Would you like to create them? Hit yes. And we're good. So next what we're going to do is we're going to just close OPL Manager for now. We're going to take our .iso and we're just going to move it into the DVD file. Go ahead and paste it into there and close that out. And then we're going to run OPL Manager, this time as administrator. Go ahead and hit OK, hit yes. It's going to say that we have a bad ISO file. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it and we're going to hit try update file name. We're going to hit yes. It's going to update it. Now the bad ISO tab should be gone and we're left with the home tab. Next, what we're going to do is go to art download in the batch actions. I personally select everything and then hit start. Once it's been completed, go ahead and hit OK. Going to close the art and we're going to close OPL Manager. From here, we're going to go back to our old flash drive. You can delete these files. They're no longer necessary. And then we're going to go into OPL and we're going to take our art folder and we're going to just copy it into our flash drive. From there, go ahead and eject the flash drive and eject your hard drive. Plug them back into the PS2 and we'll continue from there. Alright, so now back onto the PS2, we're going to go into Open PS2 Loader. And from here, we're going to set up the settings within it. That'll create some folders that we'll need so that we can paste our art folder into there. Alright, so we'll go into the first settings box. Personally, I turn on the PS2 logo, you don't need to. And then I also use remember last played game, not a big deal. Now, one thing you need to do is right here in HDD start mode, you want to set that to auto. And I also, if you're using an SSD, go ahead and turn this hard drive spin down all the way down to 0. Then hit OK. And we'll also mess with display settings real quick. You can flick on enable cover art. I personally enable widescreen and I tune this all the way up to 1080i and hit OK. Alright, and then it usually switches back to auto. I just hit OK after that. And anything else, any other settings are up to you. For me, I don't bother adjusting them. So just make sure you hit Save Changes, close that, and hit Exit. Alright, now that we're back into the PS2 menu, go down to Launch ELF_ISR. In here, we're going to go into File Browser, and we're going to go down to Mass. And we're going to go down to our art folder. I'm going to hit R1, and we're going to copy that. Hit the double dots, going to go into HDD0, going to go into plus OPL. Then we are going to hit R, and then R1, and then we're going to hit paste. It's going to ask if we wish to overwrite it. We're going to hit OK. All right. Then we are just going to reset the PS2 real quick. Back in the main menu, we're going to go back down. We're going to go into Open PS2 Loader. When it loads in, go ahead and go to your games list. And go over to IDE, and there's your games. I'm going to hit Run. You can see that it showed the cover art on the right side for it. And that is it. You have now fully modded your PS2 and are able to play the games you want to play. Yeah, that should be everything that I need to cover. If there's any questions, throw them down in the comments below. Feel free to like the video. No need to subscribe. I ain't going to be posting much more of this type of content. But feel free to like it. I'd appreciate it. And that would be everything from me that I can tell you. I hope you have a good day, and I may see you later.